thought tonight was so important. And I love that it's the two of us getting a chance to really talk to her and give her the opportunity to inform people. It's the information sometimes that we're lacking.
Yes.
We know we can get it from her.
Absolutely. I always say the more we know, the more we can grow. And in this case, the more we know, we can make the best decision and get up out our houses and vote.
Right.
You know, it's really that simple. So I'm excited to talk with Stacy today. Do you want to try to call her up and see if she can hop on with us now?
Absolutely. Now, wish me luck now, you know.
You got this. Listen, if you can't get it, I got you.
Professional help.
You got it?
It's the wrong thing. No, this is not right.
Okay, you shining. What buttons are you pressing right now, Mo?
Oh, Lord.
What is going on? We're about to have a music video right now. Okay, so wait, let me see. Mo, what are you pressing?
All the wrong things. Let me tell you what's about to happen. I am about to call someone you know very well. Rodney, help your mama. Because this ain't it.
Rodney, Mom. Okay, let me see here. I can also try to do it on my side as well.
He got us. He's here.
You got it? Because you got the effects flowing. Rodney.
Take all that.
It's not on them already?
No, it's not on there, baby. Okay, so now can you call Miss Stacy Abrams for me for my live? It's this one right here.
It's always the kids that come through.
Got it.
Our kids are way more tech savvy than we are.
For sure.
Oh, shoot.
I'm trying to figure out.
Wait, say it again, Mo.
But I feel better because he's trying to figure it out too.
I can also press the invite on my side if for some reason somebody says, somebody help Auntie Monica, please. Hold on. Okay, let me see. You want to do it?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Hold up.
I can invite her now. You want me to do it?
Let me see. In this room. Okay. Oh, wait. I think I got it.
Perfect.
Lord. You got it? You do it? Is that what you invite? No, we just want to invite Miss Stacy.
Here, I'm going to do it. Want me to hit it, Mo?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do it right now.
They're saying you have to do it because you're the host.
Okay, I'm inviting her now.
Perfect.
Let's see if we have some luck here.
Yeah, Leia just told me.
Yay! We did it!
Well done.
You were watching our whole thing, right?
I have been impressed with the ingenuity in trying to make this happen.
Listen, I'm so happy we made this happen and we're making this happen. It is truly an honor to be sitting here with you today, Stacy. I mean, I think you mean so much to us ladies for so many reasons. Just watching your journey, you know, just seeing the fighter in you, and that inspired all of us, you know, and to see the change that you've been able to make and the influence you've been able to have has been phenomenal. So it's really an honor to be sitting here with you today.
Well, it is my honor. And talking to two, Georgians, not only are you extraordinary superstars, legends in your own right, but I get to claim both of you as Georgians, which just, makes me feel good about who I am as a person.
Aw, I love that. Thank you. That means a lot.
Absolutely.
It's the that you have special, and I think it's so empowering for not just us as women in the industry we're in, but the women that are at home, the women that are going out 9 to 5s, the women that are entrepreneurs, the women that are entertainers. It's just inspiring. It just makes you want to be a part of it all.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, look, I know that. So one thing that I do on IG Live, I appreciated the ingenuity that you had, Monica, bringing in someone as your tech specialist. Mine is called Faith. She's a 16-year-old. Ciara, I appreciate the fact that you figured it out but one thing that I've started doing on IG Live is something we call Here's the Thing, where I just ask people to ask me the questions they have. You can't expect people to be involved and engaged in politics if they don't feel that they really have ownership over the issues. And so I'd love it if you two would stand in for all of Georgia and ask me questions to do today's edition of Here's the Thing.
Let's go. Well, Stacy, here's the thing.
Yes.
Okay. We definitely have questions for you. And I'm going to start with this first one. Why should people care about midterm elections and about governors?
So when you go and buy a new phone, you get your phone, you get excited. That's the presidential elections. That's the elections we get told about. But that user agreement that you get that you rarely pay attention to, that sells all your information and costs you an extra $10 a year that you weren't expecting, or $10 a month, that's midterms. Midterm elections are when the work gets done at the state level, where it's closest to the people. We care about the presidency. We care about the Senate. We care about Congress. But they're setting policies at the top. But what hits us closest to home is what happens at the state level. And the person in charge of the state is the governor. So whether you're talking about education, how much money goes to your school system, whether you're talking about whether the highways and the byways in your neighborhood get paved, that's the governor. What happens with healthcare in Georgia, not having Medicaid, not having health insurance, losing Georgia Baptist Medical Center, that's all the governor's decision. And so we should care about midterms because they try to make sure we don't. That's when that's the fine print in government. It's when governors who control billions of dollars and so much of our lives make decisions because they know we don't know who they are and the level of power that they hold. But we can change that. This year, we can change that.
So good.
Really have the power to protect the freedoms and the people we love?
Exactly. So one thing that we have seen with this governor, you guys may know, I ran for this office 4 years ago, didn't get it, not confused. I know I'm not the governor. But the person who won this election, his very first year in office, he passed a 6-week abortion ban, a ban that says that women cannot access reproductive care before they know they're pregnant. And it allows investigation of women. If they have a miscarriage, they can be investigated. We know that if you are a victim of rape or incest or human trafficking, you have to file a police report to be able to get access to the services you need. That's the governor's decision. He wanted this law. He said he was overjoyed about it, and he plans to make it worse. In fact, he was caught on tape last week saying he wasn't sure how he felt about contraception and the fact that they could come in and possibly do something about contraception. And so our freedom as women to control our bodies, our freedom as voters to be able to access the polls, our ability to make choices about who we are and who we love, all of these things are on the ballot because the governor in this current day and age is the person who signs those bills, pushes that legislation, and makes decisions about the kind of freedoms we actually enjoy. And I want a governor who actually believes in my right to be free.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just so amazing when you think about it. You know, all those things you said are just like insane. And I think for all of us women, it's been so hard to deal with, you know, being in this time. And that's why, as you said, midterms are so important, right? You are important for that matter, you know. So what I also want to ask is, we hear so much about voter suppression. How can we be sure that our vote counts?
So here's what voter suppression is, and it gets conflated with voter or election fraud. Let's be clear, voter fraud, election fraud doesn't happen. That's basically somebody putting on a mustache and a hat trying to vote more than once. It's somebody manipulating the system to change the outcome. Does not happen. Even the people who hope for it and study it will tell you it only happened. You're more likely to get struck by lightning than you are to have somebody commit voter fraud. But voter suppression is about access. Fraud is about outcome. Suppression is about access. Can you register and stay on the rolls? Can you cast your ballot? And does your ballot get counted? And unfortunately in Georgia, we have a governor and a secretary of state who get credit for not committing treason because there was no fraud, but they don't get held accountable for suppression. They've made it harder to get your absentee ballot. They've made it easy for people to challenge your right to vote. They have made it hard for people who have to stand in line for hours to get water and food, just basic things that the Bible says you should give to the strangers. And so for me, the issue is we have to know that they're putting up these obstacles, but We cannot be cowed by it. We cannot give in to those obstacles. We can get around them. And that's the work that I've been doing for the last 4 years. And that's the work I want all of us to do. What they are most afraid of is if we show up, we can win. The best way to combat voter suppression is to overwhelm the polls with our presence. And so, yes, your vote will count if you show up and if you bring your friends with you. If we prove that we deserve to be heard, then yes, we will get those votes counted. But they win when they convince us it's not worth trying. Voter suppression is most effective when it makes you think, I'll just stay home. That's when they've gotten exactly what they want. They've stopped you from casting a vote.
Your resilience is so admirable. Even though you're not the governor yet, you have acted as such, and you've informed us consistently as such. And I'm really concerned as a mom who are still out and things like that here where I was born and raised. But what are your plans for the women of Georgia? You touched on it, and you talked about some of the things that are already being implemented that take everything important to us from us. What are your plans for the women of Georgia?
So today is Black Women's Equal Pay Day. And what that means is that it took until today for Black women to earn what white men have already earned. That's how much longer we have to work because of the pay disparity. That should be offensive to everyone, male or female, regardless of race. If you were doing the same work, you deserve the same pay. So part of what I want for women is equity. I want us to have equal access, not only to pay if we work for someone, I want us to have equal access to contracts if we work for ourselves. I want women to be able to access capital. We have so many small businesses. In fact, I was just down in Stonecrest at New Black Wall Street, and 90% of the business owners are Black women. But I know that across the state, we need women writ large, Black women in particular, to be able to own the means of production, to own their own businesses, to be able to hire their community members, to take care of their families. And I'm the only candidate who has a plan to actually get access to capital to women-owned businesses, to make sure they get the contracts they need. But let's start a step further. We've got to make sure that we get the education we need. That's why I want to create an entrepreneur's learner's permit, meaning that instead of having to, fail and succeed to get to what you want, let's have somebody help us. We do this for big companies. They get all the help they need. Why not do it for small businesses? And let's make sure that if you want to go to school, you can go to technical college for free, and you can get need-based aid to go to college. Because for so many of our women, it's getting that education that opens all of the doors. And then fundamentally for me, it's about healthcare. We know that we make choices based on how we feel and the debt that we carry. And healthcare debt crippling. My opponent doesn't care. He's refused more than $15 billion that could have helped people pay their bills, could have helped people pay for insurance, and could have helped the rest of us not pay their bills for them. I want to expand Medicaid, and that particularly helps women because 1 in every 5 women in Georgia does not have health insurance. We can change that. Plus, I'm going to restore women's right to choose and get rid of the grotesque bill that he signed that bans abortion in the state of Georgia.
I mean, Stacy, you said a lot there. You know what I thought about when you were talking is, there's a saying that behind every great man, there is a great woman. And, that it is time for us to, it's time for equity. It's been long overdue. And, it's amazing to hear you talk about that and hear you're passionate about that, because we need someone like you that believes in that understands that gets that. And that if you were in office, we know that you can be a part of making that change, because it really is time. Like when you start off by talking about, like, it would take 9 months for us to catch up with where the man started the year before and to make the same amount. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, why? I always say you're never limited by the color of your skin nor your gender. And that's how I think. But the reality is that is not really true in theory, so, and, you touched on it. I guess I can say what I mean about that is just my way of how I think. Like, I'm always like, I'm going to think beyond what they say I can't do, so that's my mentality. But the reality is that a lot of us are still held back by the systems that are there. And you touched on a little bit as far as education goes. And education, I would say, I know it's important for both Monica and I. We talk about it with our kids going to school. You know, in our household, Russell and I were big on education with our Why Not You Foundation and empowering the youth to lead with the Why Not You attitude. Like, we're all about that. What more can you share on your plans for education?
Well, let's start with what you said. You do not allow yourself to be limited by the stereotypes and the soft bigotry that exists in the world about what people see or think they see. That's about holding ambition. And we should all hold that ambition. I'm standing for an office that no Black woman in American history has ever successfully achieved. But I didn't decide not to run because I don't look like anyone who's gotten the job. For me, that's just another reason to try hard. But to your point, there are obstacles that are real, and you can't defeat obstacles if you ignore their existence. And so I think it's absolutely true that your mentality should always be, I deserve, I can do, that's my right. But then we need a good government that helps you understand how to navigate either the obstacles that are created, or they need to move those obstacles out of the way if they're the ones who created it. And so when it comes to education, that's a perfect place to start. I'm the product of public schools. I graduated from DeKalb County Public Schools. And I think both of you went to school systems that beat my team when they played. But what that meant for me was that I had teachers who invested in me and poured into me. When I became valedictorian, they were the ones who celebrated me and said, here, go on to the best college you can go to. Don't limit your ambitions because of what you see around you. Imagine what you can be. And that's why it is so important to me that we pay our teachers a living wage. Right now, teachers in Georgia make less as a starting salary than teachers in Mississippi. I want to increase our starting salary to $50,000. I want to increase all educator salaries by $11,000. And on top of that, I want to make sure that our education support personnel, our school bus drivers, our cafeteria workers, our paraprofessionals, our counselors, that they're all also getting pay raises because they are doing God's work. But that means that we've got to invest. And right now, Georgia has $5 billion extra dollars. After we paid every bill, after we put money in our piggy bank, we've got $5 billion. And my opponent doesn't want to spend that money. He doesn't think that teachers deserve another raise. I do. And that's one of the reasons we need a new governor, because we need to invest in our teachers. But we also have to invest in our students. They need mental health care. And right now they can't get it because we won't expand Medicaid. Medicaid not only gives insurance to poor people, it helps communities get access to doctors and nurses and therapists and counselors, because when someone has insurance, they can afford to get the support they need. That's why I want to expand Medicaid. And the thing is, we can do all of the things I want to do without raising taxes at all. We don't have to have new taxes. We just have to have good leadership. But I think the most important piece, I believe in public education. I don't think that we have enough money pouring into the system, not just for money's sake, but because we know it's harder and more expensive if a child lives in an extended stay hotel for her to catch up the next day. If you live in a rural community and you don't have the internet, that costs more. If you go to a school that doesn't offer AP courses, that means you're limited in your access. And so it's not just about adding more numbers to what we pour into schools. It's about making sure we're investing in our children, because that's our job. And I think that's what, Ciara, both you and Monica are such perfect examples of. If we pour into our children, the return on investment is extraordinary. And look, I don't have kids myself, but I've got a borrowed 16-year-old who lives with me. And her name is Faith, and she's the most amazing child, a teenager, sorry. But what I love about her and what I appreciate so much is watching her grow, watching her think about things in a new way. And the pride I feel, even though I had nothing to do with bringing her here, I'm so proud to have some small role to play in bringing her up.
So sweet.
Older you guys, how much happens during their day at school. The teachers deserve so much more because they spend a majority of their day pouring into the people that we've birthed and that we love and that we want to see become productive. And there's so much that I feel give them a sense of peace and encourage them to even do more. You know, back in the day, my godmother is my mother's fourth grade teacher. That relationship carries over into your adult life and who you become and what you believe you become. People don't understand that these are the people that help them to understand that these things that we've done already are possible. It happens, and I don't think people realize the importance of it, or whom you've spoken of clearly doesn't realize it. So we totally support what you're saying there. It's hard to ask this question, but I want to ask it. I know why I feel that you should be the governor. I know many things that you've taught me that has changed the temperature and the format in the household for how we vote and how we think, and what we know the governor actually holds in the palm of their hand for the state of Georgia. Explain to the people that are watching that may not understand it the way we now do because of you, why do you feel you are the best choice for governor?
So we know that 4 years can change a life, whether it's 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, 4 years in a job you hate, 4 years in a job you love. 4 years can change your future. Mm-hmm. The governor serves for 4 years. And for the last 4 years, we've had a governor who has ignored a housing crisis. He's ignored a healthcare crisis. He's ignored a gun violence crisis. Mm-hmm. And he made it his mission to strip women of their right to choose. I'm running because I believe we have to get back to the fundamentals, back to the basics, investing in making housing affordable everywhere in Georgia, making sure that we expand Medicaid and lower healthcare costs, but also save hospitals. It should appall every person in Georgia that we are losing one of only 2 level 1 trauma centers that serve nearly 50% of the state. If somebody gets in an accident on I-20 or 285, if Grady can't take you, where are they going to take you? When that hospital shuts down, that's what we're facing. I'm running because I know that we should invest in education at every level. And because I know that people need to be able to make a good living, whether they work for themselves or someone else. And right now we have a governor who basically sells the state of Georgia to others by saying you can pay them low wages when you get here. I want people to compete for us and invest in us. And I want us to grow our own jobs and invest in ourselves. And so for me, becoming governor is about doing for the people of Georgia, fighting for the people of Georgia, the middle class, the working class, the forgotten folks, helping those who never believed that they had a real shot, but also helping those who got their shot to do a little better, because usually they'll reach back and bring somebody else. And so, fundamentally, I want to be governor, and I will be a great governor because I was raised to work hard, to look out for others, and to never quit. And that's what I want to do for the state of Georgia.
So amazing.
You're very good. Well, so look, you two have gotten to ask me a lot of questions for Here's the Thing, but now I'm going to turn it on you. And I'm going to start with you, Ciara. Can you tell me, you've become more politically active. Both you and Monica have become much more politically active and louder about your beliefs. Can you talk about why that is? What was the switch that turned on for you? What made you engage? And which politicians are you thinking about? How do you decide who you support?
Well, I think for me, it's just understanding the power of my voice, knowing that my voice matters. My voice carries weight. And I say that because voting is where I can use that power, and it's been a great feeling to have an experience when I've been a part of voting, and what I voted for, who I voted for was in office. That was something that was really, it was just an incredible, I felt like I was a part of something. Like I felt like I was really making a difference in that moment. I think that when you understand that that really can make a difference, you get up, you get out, you go vote, you use your voice. And as far as the politicians that I personally gravitate towards, I always look for the person that's that's meeting me at my level, meeting us at our level as humans, right? Where is the compassion for humanity? I think as you talk about the person that's in office right now, it's like, to me, they think more about business versus humanity. Like when you were talking about education, honestly, I wanted to interrupt you a few times. I was like, keep it together. But what you were saying is true. Like I have an incredible passion for education and teachers. I am very, very sensitive to teachers, because God knows I got 3 of these things around my house, 3 children. Monica has 3 children too. And it is work. Teachers get up and they go and give their all to walk away with so little. And for me, that bothers me. It's been a passion thing for me for a long time. And I've been trying to figure out how to also get involved in that space more, because teachers deserve so much more. But to hear your passion about these things, right? To hear how you're thinking about the full picture, that can really change the history of things, change like the whole, like not just the history of things in general, but someone's family. When you talk about Medicaid and Medicare and wellness, like we have to be thinking about these things. So when I hear someone like you speak about those things, I get passionate. I'm like, whoever's watching right now, why wouldn't you want to get up, get out and vote and use your voice? This is a chance for us to be heard, you know? And so when I understand that, I get excited, you know, I jump all in. I want to use my platform to share and all the things that I'm learning in the process. And I love when someone is meeting us where we are. That is the only way that we're going to make true changes. It's time. It's time for something different. It's time for something new. It's time for someone who really cares. You know, I feel like these past few years that we've been living in, we were taking some steps forward about, you know, for 5 years ago. I get my count right. You guys can follow the math, what I'm trying to say. But we took some steps backwards, you know, and we have a lot of cleaning up to do. And we need people like you in office that can be a part of making that change. So I love when someone can meet us where we are, can be aware of where we need to go, and is about that life of making it all happen.
Well, thank you. Monica, what about you?
I share the same sentiments. We talk about a lot of this stuff because my kids are a bit older, and us being around through the births of the six of them in different ways and different capacities, you get a chance to see how the things that are changing change them. The things that are changing. You know, you look at the crime here now, and I look at where I'm from. I'm still a person that keeps not only my feet, but my heart and my ears to the streets that I'm from. And I think knowing what their concerns are concern me, knowing that my concerns are just as relevant, but they are also different. Who is able to address all incomes, all people, all feelings, all races, colors, and creeds, and understand that it may be different in some places, but they all need a certain level of change. And that takes you not be, you can't clock in and out of what's needed here. And that's one of the so easy for me when you guys reached out to me and you and I talked on the phone, Miss Stacy. I told you, I said, I'm here, and I meant what I said. So use the ability to discern when someone cares. That concern, care, compassion, those are things that you can't buy. It's not just circling a name. Those are not things. And you were raised has a lot to do with it. You know, when I look at candidates and they share things about their background, that interests me a lot too. When you have people that care about their community, part in educational backgrounds for people like yourself, and how your parents pushed you towards higher learning all your life. We don't know exactly what we'll be when we're kids, but we know that influence matters. Those are the things that even push me to look at people to decide that this is who I'll get behind. That played a major thing that I believe in Miss Stacy, because I see also what her parents believed matters. It mattered that you cared about all of the communities, all of the incomes. I am still very much a part of where I'm from. I can still pull up, get out, have a conversation. That's something I'm known for. I'm never leaving that. And it's important for me to make sure that even their voices are heard, telling them that, listen, now, this is what you can do. That's important. And just understanding that you have to have a real person, like Ciara said, it's become almost mechanical, where it matters how it looks, you know, and not how it feels and what it actually is. So that's how I choose who I get behind. That is how I choose. It's not just what you say you do. I don't I don't even pay attention a lot of times to what people say only, because we know that people put on facades. That comes with the territory. But you can see by the actions of that's how I make those decisions. And I make those decisions with real people standing right behind me with the heart of what it is that they feel like they suffer most from, and with being right here. I went to North Clayton High School. I went to, a cat around there too. These are all the people that I still love and able to keep a part of me right there in the heart of where things need to be changed. And that change can only be implemented by people that are, how can you be there when you do not know what they are dealing with? So I watch you all the gap and right in the, you know, it's like if you go to the places that the first thing they say is they don't know what we feel, they're not over here. Over there. That you're over there. So when I look at people like yourself and other people that I voted for, I can't support you if you're not of the people, and you can't be of them if you're never, if you. So that's how I make my decision.
Well, I just need you to not run against me this year. If you give me a moment, that's it. That's all I'm asking. Now, Ciara, I hear about this prayer. Are you going to send me a copy? I'm serious. There's some things I need. Are you going to send me this prayer? Because I need some help.
Wait, what'd you say, Mo? I can't hear you, Mo.
One for me, or that's another day.
This is my.
First of all, listen, ladies.
You can call her later. This is I asked first.
Listen, Stacy, I got you. No, but let me tell you, I always say prayer works. You know, prayer really does work. I am an avid believer in prayer. That has carried me through so many parts of my life. And, you know, if I'm just going to say, we can go ahead and pray right now. Heavenly Father, let's bless Stacy to be the next governor of Georgia. Let's go. Come on now, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Yes, prayers are up, Stacy. We've got to do this. Stacy has got to be there. This has to happen. So yes, I got you on the prayer. Okay, we can pray in many ways. All right, but we are praying for you to be the next governor. So let's go.
Well, my priorities straight. Thank you. Now, Miss Fabulous Monica with the hat. What is this Gunica I hear about? I did my research. I meet you where you are. Come back into the frame. Come on. Go.
Gunica.
What does Gunica mean?
Out loud.
My 17-year-old, what does Gunica mean? What's that mean?
So it just means she don't play. She's serious.
He said it means she don't play. It really, he's exactly right. So Gunica, it started off, believe it or not, as an insult. It was like they would call me Gunica, Glocka. It's supposed to have been an insult, but I was never insulted because I knew that it came from, I don't play about my family, my business, my integrity, the people I love. That was me. And one thing that I did do was I matured Gunica a bit. Less of the pop off and more of what I stand for and how I stand for them is important. A part of what I want my legacy to be is authenticity, genuineness, the ability to still touch the people and never think I'm above anything, because we're all just everyday people. And sometimes when people do what we do, they forget, you know, they think they're above something. No, it's the people that keep us where we like to be. So the second you forget that, you and I are not the same. But Gunica really derived from me, you know, Miss Stacy, you remember kick down the door and smack the chick just to show I have in it. Okay, but I've gotten control. I don't see about it.
Well,
it's there, but it did start with me just play. I don't play, period. And you can't, especially about the things you love and the people you love, who you are. I don't play about who I am. If I read something that's not true, I express myself. So that's where the Gunica has come. I've matured her a little bit. We have fun with her. I was never offended when I was given that nickname because I knew that that was a person that didn't understand a real person. And that's something that I never plan to lose. So if you ever have a problem during this election,
I'm getting prayer and Gunica. This has been a very, very, very beneficial IG Live. Okay. Ciara, we're going to change well, Gunica gets back together. Ciara, tell me about the first time you voted.
Oh my gosh, this is so much fun, by the way. I was like, we have to pray before Gunica comes out. That's what we're going to have to do. But yes.
It's okay. It's okay. That's what
You
she
got this.
It's okay.
So yes, so Stacy, the first time that I voted for Barack Obama. And that was special. I remember the excitement of going out to the polls, and I remember being in the hurt. Now, let me tell you, mommy brain is real, so I can forget a lot of stuff. But I'll never forget being in my rehearsal hall late night. I was rehearsing for some award show. I don't remember the show I was rehearsing for, but I remember standing by the TV and them announcing that he was our president. That was unforgettable and obviously monumental. And that was a great moment, an example where I felt like my voice was heard. Like I was a part of that. And I was so proud. So that's my first memory. And I'm really proud of that till this day.
Monica / Gunica. Which door did you kick down the first time you voted?
Oh, let me think. Well, the first time I voted was a long time ago. Melinda, let me think. Yeah, it had to be Clinton.
Yeah.
It had to. And I remember participating heavily at the White House afterwards because for that level of understanding, I will not that I always understood before I started to really take who I am, move it from the South Side into the world and into the White House for the first time. And being there, what I went and did was I sat down and I talked to them about the importance of keeping electives and music in schools and fighting for that and raising funds for that. You know, remember growing up, you go to chorus, you go to band, and there was a time where that was in question to be removed. And I went and in all his coolness, Monica, this is important for all of us. We love having so cool. But he heard what I had to say about how standing in chorus and learning to harmonize and work with other people and all of these things that were given to us in the public school system at that point, why you could not take that away. So that was the first time that I voted and the first time that I actually went into the White House and did the work that needed to be done.
Fantastic. Well, Ciara, I'm going to give you my last question. So I know the first thing I want to do as governor is expand Medicaid because it creates 64,000 jobs. It gives 500,000 people health care. It reduces costs for everyone. It helps us save 19 hospitals. They're at risk of shutting down. It helps save lives. But you are now governor for 24 hours. So what you doing?
Well, first of all, we're going to celebrate. Okay. But I'm definitely going to jump right into the things that are important to me. Roe versus Wade has to be addressed. We've got to get that right. That's right away from me. And then I would also focus on the Voting Act and to really create more suppression, you know, that's in place. It's time for, we got to reverse that. So for me, those would be my two main focuses for starters. And yeah, I think that's what Governor Cici would do.
There we go.
Well, this has been so much fun. I mean, everybody's watching right now and everyone that's tuned in, we know you all may have some questions. I mean, this is really a treat. I just have to say, I start off by the top by saying that this is an honor to be with you, but I am really, really enjoying myself. So I know people have some questions out there. Mo, do you want to fill some of these questions from people that are coming in? Because we know they have questions to ask Stacy. So let's see what we have going on. Guys, put your questions in below. And let's see what you guys want to know from Stacy. All right. So let me see here too. I think there might be one that my team just sent in and they were saying, Well, you just asked me. We kind of just answered it actually about your first plan of action for once you get in. But if you were to get in, when you get in, we're gonna speak life into this. When I'm always like, speak life, okay? There is life and death in the tongue, so we're gonna speak life, only life. But this question I see right here, it says, when you become governor, will your office offer internships to students?
That is an amazing question. So when I was elected in 2006, and then I became the Democratic leader, meaning I was in charge of all the Democrats in the House of Representatives. My office got $13,000. The majority leader, his office basically ended up with roughly $1 million. So there was a little bit of a disparity in investment. So what I had to do was figure out a way to serve all of the people that Democrats represented, even though we didn't have the money. So I took money out of my campaign account to hire some young people to work for me. But then I thought, why not create opportunities for young people? So I actually brought in a young woman named Jenny, and my chief of staff was a young woman named Ashley. And we created an internship program. And by the end of my 7 years, we'd had more than 400 interns who got to learn about policy, got to learn about politics. And what was the most fun moment for me for all of that was that one day someone from the other side of the aisle came up to me, and I can't tell if he thought it was a compliment or an insult, but he said, "I can tell when somebody works for you because it looks like the United Nations." And for me, that was the highest compliment because I wanted that office to look like Georgia, but I also wanted young people from every race, every region, every creed to know that they belonged in that space. They deserved to be under that gold dome. They deserved to be at the Capitol. And so, yes, as governor, I want to create a youth council of high school students and middle school students who advise me. I'm going to create internships so that we've got young people working in every level of state government so they're understanding before it impacts them what they can do, but also so they can help impact solutions ahead of time. My first real job was working for the city of Atlanta as a junior in college because I got into a fight with Maynard Jackson. He won the fight, but then he hired me, so it worked out.
He saw that fight in you. He was like, come and fight with me. That's awesome.
You see the question that we're getting so much right now. People are saying, Miss Stacy, when you win and after you run as governor, will you run for president?
So I've said this before. It's even in a book I wrote. Yes, one day I would love to be president. And I always answer this question because, and this goes back to what Ciara said about ambition. We cannot want things that we're not willing to claim, but we also cannot deny our right to beliefs and to postures and positions. When the whole VP thing was happening and I got the question, people were like, oh my God, how dare she answer the question saying she might want to be vice president? I'm like, why wouldn't I? Mm-hmm. How many Black women get asked that question and have a legitimate opportunity to make it so? Yes, I want the job of helping as many people as possible achieve the dreams that they have, removing obstacles from them and making the country better. But the job I want right now, the job that matters most to me is the job of governor, because that is a job that changes lives. Look, Trayvon Martin, when he was shot, the law that let his murderer go free was a law that was signed by a governor, not by a president. When they eviscerated the social safety net and treated Black women as less than human because they needed a little extra help, that law didn't start in Washington. It started with the governor of Wisconsin. And mass incarceration took off in the United States with 3 strikes you're out. That didn't start in Washington. That didn't start with the 94 crime bill. It started with the governor of California. He passed and signed the first 3 strikes you're out law. And if we live in the South, we know that Jim Crow, those laws that denied Black people their citizenship for 150 years, was signed by 9 governors. It never had a single federal law. And so for me, the most important job, especially in this moment, is the job of governor, because we need someone who believes in our humanity, in our integrity, and in our right to thrive. That's why I want this job. And so, yeah, I'll think about some jobs later on, but the job I want in 48 days, because I am counting, is the job of governor.
Yes. Let's go. That is so inspiring. Your fearlessness is, I mean, this is how we have to think. We have to think this way as women. We have to believe in like what we want to do, who we want to become. Why not us? Why not her? I mean, I hope that everyone that's watching, especially the ladies, are getting a dose of major inspiration right now. Ladies, let's go. This is amazing. Okay, so then let's see if we got some more stuff here. Let's see. Okay. I think my team sent in something else too here to my phone. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. How will you help the ATL film industry thrive as a governor?
So let's understand that the film industry is not just Atlanta, it is the state of Georgia, but it is under attack by the current governor. We know that we lost Music Midtown. We lost Music Midtown because of his gun laws. Because when Georgia has the 9th highest gun violence rate, and the guns are the #1 killer of our children, instead of strengthening gun safety, he weakened gun laws. And because of that, because of the weak gun laws in Georgia, Music Midtown took its $50 million and left. We know that because of his voter suppression law, the one he signed in 2021, we lost $100 million from the All-Star game. They said we can't bring people. In fact, it was the black players with the MLB who said, look, we don't want to come to a place that doesn't treat us with the respect and the voter access that we deserve. And so they lobbied, and that game left. And when it comes to abortion laws in Georgia, I have spent so many hours on the phone talking to people about why I need them to stay and fight. But we need to win, because now that law is the law of the land, now that women are denied the right to control their bodies, it's going to be harder and harder for projects to stay here in Georgia. When a woman knows that she's going to be on set for 9 months or for 8 months or 6 months, but she's got to know within 6 weeks what she can do. Otherwise, she faces being criminalized. The doctor who helps her faces 10 years in prison. It's going to be harder and harder to keep that industry here. And here's the thing. We forget that when the film industry came to Georgia in 2008, it didn't just organically grow here. We got it from North Carolina and we got it from Michigan. I know Monica remembers, and Ciara probably does too. Dawson's Creek was filmed in North Carolina. All these films and television shows that were happening in North Carolina and in Michigan came to Georgia when they got governors who decided that they didn't have to do what the people wanted. And that's how Georgia got it here. And we need to understand that there are other states that are eager to take this film industry from us. And that's why I want to be governor, to not only have the laws to make certain that people can work here, but make sure they want to stay here. But in addition, I'm going to protect the tax credit. I'm going to make certain that we are creating apprenticeships that help folks from our communities that are often underserved and overlooked, get jobs in the film industry. Right now, you got to know someone to get somewhere. And I want to create those internships that let our young people get into the industry early so they can grow their opportunities. And I want to make sure that we're providing financing so that those independents and those creatives who have amazing ideas but don't know where to start don't have to put themselves in the hawk to get started. But you need a governor who actually believes in investing in people and protecting our freedoms for the film industry to stay here in Georgia.
That's so good and so powerful. Someone wrote, save Georgia. Yes, we clearly see that Stacy Abrams can save Georgia. Come on. Well, let's see what else we have. Mo, do you see some other questions there?
There are actually several good ones that they just handed me. Okay. What piece of advice do you have for younger generations who want to make a change? What would be the steps that they take to do so?
So let's start with why I talk about voting so much. Voting is not magic. I know politicians talk about it, you vote and these magical things happen. That doesn't work. Voting isn't magic. Voting is medicine. Medicine is something you have to take over and over again. And when you stop taking it, whatever's wrong with you is coming back and bringing friends. And so part of what young people, the power they have is when you understand it's medicine, then you organize around how do you keep it going. And that's something I've seen young people do spectacularly well on every issue that matters to them. But when we don't use that power in voting, then the people who want us to stay sick, the people who create the ills in our society, they're doing their part. And they get amplified by it because they know we're going to get distracted, or worse, we're going to get depressed and give up. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing is, do not let people take your attention from your mission. The second is, know that you're not in this alone. Those who are older may not have gotten it done, but some of us are still working. We're just waiting for you to come and help. I got to do a speech when I was 19. I got to speak at the 30th anniversary of the March on Washington. And I talked about three things: jobs, justice, and peace. Still working on all three of those. But where we were 30 years ago is not where we are today. And the progress that gets made has to be acknowledged. We don't have to rest on our laurels, but we have to acknowledge that progress has been made so we know what else we can fight for. And then the last thing is that you have the right to expect everything. Never let anyone tell you to dampen your ambition or lower your vision. We have the right to see the future that we want, and we have the right to believe we can make it so. And that's why I am so bullish about this job and about this opportunity, because I can see what Georgia would look like if we had a governor willing to invest in us. I can see what our schools would look like if our teachers could actually teach instead of teaching and driving the school bus and having 38 kids in the classroom. I'm being slightly hyperbolic, but not really. I know what we could be like if we had affordable housing in every part of our state so folks could take care of themselves and their families. I believe that my ambition is met by my vision, but I'm reaching out because I can't get there without the young people in the state of Georgia. And if we do this together, what we can change in this world is unlimited.
That is so amazing. You know, I thought when you were speaking, I thought about never let someone dim your light.
Yep.
Clearly, Stacy wants the light to shine bright in Georgia for all of us, for everyone in Georgia. And I love voting is medicine, the medicine we need. We need the right person in place to help make all this change that is like long overdue. It's time. It's time. Maybe there's one more question out there from someone, and we can go quick here. Let's see, the team's in some more stuff. Let's see here. Okay, talk about the medicine. Okay, there's more questions. I'm trying to go to a quick one so everybody can have a little something before we go out. Okay, let's see here. Oh, this is actually a good one. Okay, so you, Stacy, you work with the homeless population.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Georgia, unfortunately, has a fast-growing homelessness population, and it's comprised of people who are being pushed out because they can't afford rents. We have those who have mental health issues who can't afford supportive housing or get access. We have those who have substance abuse issues. We have a lot of people who are returning citizens. And because Georgia has such a large veteran population, we have a number of veterans who are homeless. I know that we need more inventory in our housing, but we also need to have more money put in place in local governments so they can invest in housing. And right now, the governor's not doing enough. He's sitting on nearly $500 million to keep people in their homes and won't spend the money. And we need a governor who actually believes that we deserve access. Now, mind you, this is a governor who made millions in real estate, but won't help working families stay in their houses. And that, to me, that kind of hypocrisy is not only appalling, it's economically inefficient. If we help people stay in their houses, we are helping their kids go to school. We're helping them get access to better health care. We are changing the future for the better. And so for me, homelessness is more than just not being housed. It's about all the other pieces. It's about crime. It's about education. It's about healthcare. And it's a solvable problem. We keep pretending. The scripture that annoys me the most that people rely on is when they say, well, the poor will always be among us. That wasn't the Lord telling us to get used to it. It was a challenge. It was a call to action. It is our job, our duty, our responsibility as citizens, as humans, to make certain we are helping the least of these. And someone who does not have shelter deserves not only our grace, but our investment. And for me, that is a driving force, because there but for the grace of God go I, but so do people who are victims of domestic violence, women with children. men who are being separated from their families because if they go to a shelter, they can't stay in the same place. There is so much more that we could do if we had a governor who believes it's our job to help people get a step up and get a step inside. And if we do that, we can make the world better.
Mm.
Ms. Stacy, how can they continue to get more information? There are a lot of people that are on this live that I in my heart. This is the first time that they're hearing a lot of the information that you're sharing. This is a new spectrum of information. It's invoking thought. How can they find more information? Because I feel that this is going to make a lot of people want to know more. Can you tell me and do that?
Yeah, if you go to my website to stacyabrams.com. Now, there's some people like, oh, she has too many policies. We've got a lot of issues in the state. And so I try to really tackle the issues that people care about. So if you go to my website, it's not going to be like a 5-second snippet. We'll give you some headlines. But if you want to know more, you can click on the link and you can learn more about the issue and learn about why the solutions matter. Because it's hard to solve problems if you don't know not only what is the problem, but why is it a problem. But if you go to our website, stacyabrams.com, and while you're there, you can learn how to volunteer. You can learn about the dates for the election. You can learn about all the ways that we can make this happen. And I just encourage people to go to my website, but also you could, send me a DM on Twitter. I think you can do the same thing on Instagram. That is not my forte, but anytime you have a question, just reach out to me. I am happy to answer.
Well, Stacy, you are amazing. One, we thank you for that access. You are special, to be even extend yourself in that way. Again, I really believe is where we're going to see change happen. We need someone that's for the people, and you are a woman for the people. You inspire us so much, and this has been a total honor to be here with you today. Just thank you so much for your time. Thank you for how you're pumping so hard on this journey. We are pumping hard for you. We are believing in this journey. Why not? Stacy, let's go. Mo, this has been fun. This has been amazing, right?
I respect and admire. You guys always touch lives, and I feel like we can do this together. What happened 4 years ago has nothing to do with what will happen in just a couple weeks. We got your back on this end.
We got your back. So for everyone that's watching and all the Georgians out there, the Georgia pages, you guys make sure you remember that the last day to register in Georgia is October 11th. Early vote begins October 17th. Early vote ends November 4th. And election day is November 8th. 48 days. Let's go. This has been so much fun. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Stacy, thank you again. It was an honor. Mo, I love you. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you too. My inner fangirl is just so excited right now. Ciara, Monica, thank you so much. Your grace, your kindness, and your engagement means the world. So thank you for having me.
Woo, let's go. Team Stacy. Hey.
There.
Hey. Bye, ladies.
Bye, guys.